our next inductee, the late Cy Ganem, and accepting on his behalf his cousin, Paul Abowd, and also here today is John Abowd and I don't know if Mike Abowd. Is it Mike here?
Mike.
I think it's Mike's here.
Mike's here.
They played with Warren Rustand and under Bruce Larson, so interesting thing there. But Cy Ganem was a tennis coach at Tucson High School, won 6 straight championships in the late 50s into the early 60s. In 60 they won a national title, and I read up on him a little bit that not only back then you had a state title in tennis, but you had a national title too. I think they won it in Florida, I believe. Turned down offers to coach at universities to stay at Tucson High School. And here to accept on his behalf is Paul Abowd.
You know, I'm up here today thanking the Sports Hall of Fame on behalf of Cy and also on behalf of Roz, his sister, who had dental surgery. Otherwise, she would be here very nervous and giving this speech. You know, Pat gave a lot of the sense of the accomplishments that my cousin Cy achieved as a coach. Out of curiosity, how many in this room either coached or attended Tucson High? A fair number. And Cy was a coach back in the 50s and the 60s, but as a youngster, he was actually taught tennis by our father, John Abowd. And he taught Cy everything that he knew, and then Cy went on and became a Southwestern champion. He became an outstanding player. He truly loved the game. We barely ever saw him. He lived next door to us, and we hardly ever saw him when he wasn't in his tennis clothes. You know, and back in the days before El Con was built, there was Hotel, it was the Conquistador Hotel, right on the site of the El Con Mall. How many of you remember that? Amazing. These are old timers. This is great. It's great. But the winter visitors used to come and stay at the Conquistador Hotel, and Cy used to play there he had a friend whose father worked at the Conquistador. And so they'd play on the tennis courts, and the winter visitors would come. And one year, this guy from back east came and started playing and teaching and giving tips to my cousin Cy. And it turned out that this was Bill Tilden, who was voted the best tennis player in America in the first half of the century. He was an amazing player. It'd be like me playing with Billie Jean King. It would just be, you know, awe-inspiring. Cy was so good that he was invited to play in Florida and all around the country. People loved playing with a really great player. You know, he became the captain of he played on the U of A team and captained it for 2 years. He taught Roz tennis. She said she actually got an A in tennis in PE. He, you know, I think he was, let me see, initially he was coaching at Wakefield Junior High, and this is all before I even, you know, was born, I think. And the principal, Andy Tolson from Tucson High, went down to Wakefield and said to Cy, we want you to coach at Tucson High. So he came back to Tucson High, and from 1952 to 65, he was the boys' tennis coach. In the 13 years he was coach, he won 212 matches and lost 2. And you just heard how many state championships he won. You heard that Bill Lenoir was a national champion. He was nationally ranked. He played at Wimbledon. He was just an amazing athlete, and the teams were just wonderful. In fact, in 2001, the Arizona Interscholastic Association awarded Tucson High boys tennis the team of the century. And the girls tennis team, coached by Sue Clark, my coach at Tucson High, and Lucy Limbs, and Gina Bowds. She had the longest winning streak of any coach of any sport in the entire nation. And she and her teams were awarded Team of the Century along with Cy. It's very clear that between Cy Ganem and Sue Clark that there was a tremendous tennis dynasty at Tucson High. And Lucy, who is sitting in the back, who played on the women's team, on the girls' team, said that Cy, she felt like a daughter to Cy, that he just took people under his wing and under his arm. And we've continued his legacy. Jean has, I certainly have, Lucy, as tennis champions and coaches. And we actually coached Casey Esparza Fort, who is a recipient today also. So there's a long legacy from my father to Cy Ganem, and those of us in the tennis world will never forget the dynasty that they created at Tucson High. Thank you all on behalf of Cy so very much.